is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show.
Red Leg. Hey, Red Leg. You know how you always tell me to quit being a little sour ass and get into the Christmas spirit, and I need to be happy and quit being a fucking Grinch? I got the perfect thing. On the first day of Christmas, the Army gave to me my brand new DD-214. On the second day of Christmas, the VA gave to me two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. On the third day of Christmas, the VA gave to me three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. On the fourth day of Christmas, the VA gave to me Black Rifle coffee, three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. On the fifth day of Christmas, the VA gave to me not a damn thing for PTSD. Hot damn. Black Rifle coffee, three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. On the sixth day of Christmas, the VA gave to me 6 full prescription squad for PTSD. Hot damn. Black Rifle coffee, three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. On the seventh day of Christmas, the VA gave to me 7 VA letters, 6 full prescription squad for PTSD. Black Rifle coffee, three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. Really? On the 8th day of Christmas, the VA gave to me $8 copay, 7 VA letters, 6 full prescription squad for PTSD. Black Rifle coffee, three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. On the 9th day of Christmas, the VA gave to me 9 damn appointments, $8 copay, 7 VA letters, 6 full prescription squad for PTSD. Black Rifle coffee, three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. On the 10th day of Christmas, the VA gave to me 10 t-shirt companies, 9 damn appointments, $8 copay, 7 VA letters, 6 full prescription squad for PTSD. There's a lot of companies. Black Rifle coffee, three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. On the 11th day of Christmas, the VA gave to me a Christmas card from ISIS, 10 t-shirt companies, 9 damn appointments, $8 copay, 7 VA letters, 6 full prescription squad for PTSD. Black Rifle coffee, three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. On the 12th day of Christmas, the VA gave to me finally WTF Nation Christmas card from ISIS, 10 t-shirt companies, 9 damn appointments, $8 copay, 7 VA letters, 6 full prescription squad for PTSD. Idiot. Black Rifle coffee, three dependents bitching, two nurses calling, but I still got my DD-214. Ho, 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 ho. Merry kiss my ass.
You know, if anybody on the WTF Nation staff has the Christmas spirit, it's Jay Reddy. And two years or 3 years ago, he put that together. And it's just to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. And that's what we're here for tonight, is to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. Because I think this is going to be our last broadcast until after the Christmas season. We're not going to have a show tomorrow. We're not going to have a show Wednesday or Tuesday. Wednesday's no show, and we'll be back hot on Thursdays with Sergeant's Time with Ice. So welcome, everybody. This is Kicking It with Kaz, and I'm Kaz. And I think Owl's here.
Owl is here.
What's happening, man?
Hey, it's another beautiful day in paradise, as they say.
Dude, I want to say we hit 70 today.
Oh,
These brutal winters are getting the best of me.
We haven't had such luck. It's actually been in the 30s and 20s.
Yeah. Right
now we've got snow on the ground. It's kind of sloppy.
Okay, well, I guess you can deal with that, and I'll deal with my mid 70s or my low 70s. It's really crazy because it gets down into the 30s at nighttime.
Yeah.
So my house cools down, and throughout the night I'll hear the heater kick on and off, and I've got it set to 66 degrees. So I'll wake up in the morning, I take a shower, I get my things done, and the house is at a point where it's almost too cool, but I put like an extra layer on or whatever, and then it gets like too warm.
Uh-huh.
So this is weird. I've got a pair of shorts on, and I've got a hoodie on, and I seem to be okay.
My wife teases me when I do that. Come springtime, I have on the whole sandals with socks and wearing shorts with a warm shirt on.
I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty of socks with sandals yet. I don't think I'm not old enough for that.
Well, but not yet. Give yourself time.
Welcome everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule, and I mean, hopefully you all have a long weekend ahead of you, and Monday and Tuesday off, and Wednesday off. Yeah, man, I don't know how the military's doing the vacations now, because with Christmas being on Wednesday, what do they do? You guys got PT tomorrow, and then
Christmas is on Tuesday.
Christmas on Tuesday. What the hell was I thinking? So yeah, I guess they do have a 4-day. Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. Or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Are you getting your days confused again?
I am, because I'm off until the 2nd or 3rd. I think it's the 2nd.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
I work for a company that's very liberal as far as vacation goes. We have a lot of vacation days, and they're really, really awesome as far as Christmas goes. That we usually shut down, a couple of days before Christmas, so families have a chance to travel, and then we're gone until after the New Year.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad, man. It's I get bored, but I've got a lot of stuff going on. So it's like last Christmas I didn't have anything going on.
Yeah.
This Christmas I have a lot of things going on, and it's not Christmas related. It's just house stuff that I can get done.
Well, yeah. Now, here's the question. Now, when does your daughter come back?
The middle of January.
Oh boy. So you're going to be left to your own devices that whole time, huh?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I miss her. I talk to her every day, but it gives me time because I'm going to destroy after the broadcast today. I'm destroying this room.
I was going to say, weren't you thinking about moving your broadcast room?
Yes, I am, and it takes a lot of work, so I'm going to be completely out of commission after this broadcast. I've got to move everything out of this room, complete this room, and then I have to run electricity to the area in the other room that I'm going to, along with some internet connectivity.
Ooh.
And hopefully it works because I'm going to be about 100 feet away from my router.
Oh, well, now here's the thing.
But I'm making it. I'm making it a wired connection. Ethernet can run about 300 feet.
I was going to say you can do Ethernet cords.
Oh yeah, but I got to go up in through the wall into the attic, across the attic down a wall, which isn't so much of a problem, but there's when this house was built, there's a lot of horizontal 2x4s in the wall.
Ooh.
So I can't just drop down from the attic into through the wall and then down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all the walls are like they have the fire breaks on them.
Okay.
Every wall has a fire break in it, which is weird, but
well, that just means run some cable, right?
yeah. I'm gonna run it on the outside of the wall. You're not gonna be able to see it.
Okay.
So I'll run the Romex down the wall. I've got a cable track for that, so it'll look good and it'll be legal. But hey, later on today in the broadcast, in about an hour, a little less than an hour, we're going to have Ty Oswald from the Bearded Warriors. He's going to be here to discuss what the Bearded Warriors are and what they do. He was a Kiowa Warrior avionics and weapons system crew chief, deployed to Iraq with H Company 159th 2nd ACR during Iraqi freedom in 2003. After his service ended, he returned to Alabama in 2006. And he later founded Bearded Warriors, a veteran suicide prevention and resource awareness group in December of 2013. So they're a group of military and non-military volunteers that provide veterans and their families with opportunities to experience the fun and camaraderie of the after-service community. Even being a disabled veteran, he leads from the front and he gets others to sign for 5Ks, 10Ks, mud runs, and log carries. So he just another one of the functional veterans that we like to talk to, because I personally don't like the dysfunctional veterans name. It's kind of it's I get it. I get the humor in it, but it really doesn't do us much service. It's a joke between veterans, but to a regular person on the street that doesn't have any military experience, that word dysfunction, we're far from dysfunctional people. Seriously. We are probably in one of the most functional segments of American society, and to call us dysfunctional is not doing us any it's not doing
I
any.
agree with you.
Doing us any benefit.
All of us, the dysfunctional veteran thing. But it needs to stay between us, because a lot of people don't get our sense of humor.
Oh yeah, yeah. You ought to see some of the folks I work with who like graduated high school and they've spent the most part of their adult life up until their master's degree or their PhD in school.
Oh Lord!
So they don't have a lot of life experience, and to get and when me and some of the other folks in the lab start joking around and cutting up, and yeah, they kind of look at us funny, like, are you serious?
Oh yeah, I get that all the time. It's kind of sad. Hey, we got someone in, Martha from Anchorage.
Martha in Anchorage. Hope you didn't have much damage from the earthquake.
Yeah, I hope you're okay, and Merry Christmas. I hope that you can at least be happy that it's that time of year.
You know, about that earthquake, I saw there was a road that was all jacked up. It really got jacked up. But the thing is, it was fixed like a week later.
That's because it was the road directly to the Anchorage airport.
Oh, so they needed that. They needed that road.
They made sure that one got repaired very quickly. During the winter, that is one of their big lifelines.
Yeah, it would be good to get that one fixed.
But no, I mean, can you believe it? We are at this point now where come Tuesday, it's Christmas, bud.
And a week later, it's going to be New Year's.
Yeah. I mean, you just think about all that, and you're like, I'm one of those people that reflects, and man, I have to say this year has gone so fast.
I saw a meme last week, and I think it's very, very true. Is we're going to look back at the year 2018 and say to ourselves, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. But then you think about 2018, and you're like, yeah, what the hell was that?
Well, and I go along with that. Since I've been more and more becoming, and I tell people, I'm becoming more and more healthy. I have the ability to think past tomorrow. And I have the ability at this point to be happy. And more I'm realizing how enjoyable life can be if you just don't worry about so much. If that sounds, I mean, that sounds so simplistic, but at this point, we're in the holidays, and I know families scramble, and they're all uptight, and they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that, and even my wife was trying to do that today, and I said, honey, don't sweat it. You know, this is we're together. We've got a roof over our head. We've got heat. What else could we really want for?
You know, I saw a meme that it reminded me of you.
Uh-oh.
And it's not a bad thing, but it helped me understand you and who you are. I mean, your life and the way you portray yourself, the way that you are, isn't like everything's not sunshine and rainbows and granola bars.
No.
It's just the way that you and your persona are. And a lot of people, might be confused. They're like, this dude's happy all the time. And I'm like, okay, he's not high. I don't think you drink. So it's like, I'm really going to paraphrase and butcher this, but it's just like, it's not that you are happy all the time every day. It's just that you know that there are better days to come. Even if you're having a shitty day, you know that there's better days to come.
Well, yeah.
And you acknowledge the fact that there are better days to come.
And that's just it. I mean, everybody goes through their own stuff for whatever reason. Be it if you're wrestling with PTSD or you've lost some limbs or whatever. You've had a bad day. Now, if you can look past that day and say, okay, I'm breathing, so that must mean I can have a better day. I mean, people laugh at me when I sat there and said, yeah, I only had 2 asthma attacks this year. And some people would say, God, that's awful. It's like, no, that's excellent. I didn't have pneumonia this year.
I mean, that would suck to me. I've never had an asthma attack.
Well, yeah. And I'm just sitting there going, if you would have known me and known my problems, that's a big jump for me. So to be able to smile, I try very hard to help everybody understand. It's okay to have bad days, but on those bad days, remember, tomorrow isn't. And it's always your choice to make it better. So you're exactly right. It's not that I'm high. It's not that I'm out eating granola and wearing my hair down to my neck and everything else. It's that I.
You are the station hippie, though.
You know what? I accept that.
You are the station hippie with the shortest haircut of probably everybody. I keep my hair pretty short, but yours is pretty damn short.
But that's just it. I've realized life isn't so bad, and as long as you remember that it can be worse and it can be better, and it's your choice. How hard is that? And you're right. I guess I'm a little bit of an oddity, but I like that. And if we had more oddities out there, wouldn't it be so much more fun?
Well, I don't know. My first story is about an oddity. Would you like to hear it?
It is.
Oh God.
Take it away.
I hope everybody just hasn't just eaten. But there's a man who sniffed his dirty socks each day. Learned the hard way that his habit can apparently be a health danger. The man, identified only as Peng, reportedly developed a habit of sniffing his socks each day after work. But this unusual custom allegedly landed him in the hospital after he began complaining of chest pains, tightness in his chest, and a cough. Initially, doctors suspected that Peng, age 37, had pneumonia. But when his symptoms persisted, doctors re-questioned the man and eventually admitted that he was, quote, addicted to smelling his socks that he had been wearing. Okay, the first time I read this story, I thought he was sniffing other people's feet, but he was just doing this to his own feet, so he's not completely too weird. He's just a little weird.
Yeah.
Physicians would later discover that the man had a serious fungal infection in his lungs, more formally known as pulmonary fungal disease. The infection was likely caused when the man inhaled the fungal spores found in his dirty socks.
Ooh.
Pulmonary fungal disease, or, watch me butcher this word, aspergillosis? Aspergillosis. I've had all day to practice this freaking word, and I'm messing it up anyway. Aspergillosis. Aspergillosis is an infection caused by a certain kind of mold. The illness resulting from aspergillosis usually affects the respiratory system, but their signs and severity vary greatly. The mold that triggers the illness, Aspergillus, is everywhere. It's indoors, it's outdoors, it's on everything. Most strains of this mold are harmless, but a few can cause serious illnesses when people with weakened immune systems, underlying lung diseases, or asthma inhale these spores. The infection can cause wheezing, shortness of breath, or cause the infected person to cough up blood, among other systems. Luckily, Mr. Peng is supposed to make a full recovery. Good for Mr. Peng. Now,
Good.
Mr. Peng, please stop smelling your socks. Now,
At least wash your socks and take a shower.
Okay. Here's a little inside info on Kaz. I have approximately 1 month's worth of white laundry, and that's all socks. I wear white tube socks.
Uh-huh.
So in order to make it more worthwhile to do a load of white laundry, which is the only thing I have, is the socks. Now that my daughter's here, her robe is white, and a couple of her towels are white. So that makes a larger load, more efficient to run the washing machine.
Yeah.
There are times when I'm running low, and I'm like, crap, are these clean or are these dirty? And then I'll do a little sniff check, and then make my decision. I don't rewear old socks. I just need to make sure that the socks that I'm sniffing are clean.
Yeah, and that's kind of an obvious difference.
But Mr. Peng decided that he was going to smell his socks that were on his feet after a long day's work.
Oh, jeez.
That's
Well, there's no counting for taste in life, and there are a lot of odd people out there.
Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge?
Exactly. Who am I to judge? Hey, it looks like you have a poll.
I do, and I'm getting ready to take it down because I don't know how this got stuck up there, but this was from 2 weeks ago. Because I've got Christmas stuff for today. I've got one government question, and then the rest of them are Christmas related. But this one is what beer company is known as the king of beers? Shiner Bock, Budweiser, Rolling Rock, or Pabst Blue Ribbon? And the correct answer is Budweiser.
Now, are you a beer man?
Not really.
Okay. So what do you drink?
I like Shiner Bock, and I like Miller Lite.
Okay. That's not too bad of a combination, I guess.
Not really. It's not something that I do regularly or at all, really.
Yeah.
So our next poll question is let me see, the Peace Corps used to be a part of the what department prior to 1981?
Huh.
The Peace Corps used to be a part of the blank: the Department of Defense, the Department of State, the Department of the Interior, or the Department of Labor.
That's a toughie. Huh. I'll have to hear that answer.
When I read the answer, I was just like, I was kind of way off on that.
Oh, and hello to you today, Branko, and Merry Christmas to everybody. Anybody who is not having a good day, well, then listen in and just enjoy the talk. Hello,
where's Branko at? Is he in the main page chat?
He is over in the main page.
What's up?
Chat room.
What's up, Branko? Been a while since I heard from you. He's a race car dude out from the East Coast.
Yeah, he is. I've actually seen him advertise, and he's tried very hard to get sponsorship and get cars and wreck cars. And
God, that's hard to do. Someone's got to sink money into something that's probably going to get wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very expensive proposition.
It's an expensive hobby.
It's an expensive hobby. The thing is, we've had Jesse Uwiji on our show twice now.
Yeah.
And he started out with he's an officer in the Navy, and he decided that he wanted to race his car, and then some things went sideways, and it's like damn expensive to fix your own car. So he realized very quickly that he needed sponsorships.
So Branko, I know he's been trying to get sponsors down the road, and hopefully things turn out good for him. Maybe this coming year will be the year that people will congeal and get what they have been trying for. All we can do is hope.
It's just hard, man. You got to be competitive. To be competitive, you have to have a good machine. To have a good machine, you got to have money. And to have money, you need sponsors.
Exactly.
And there's a whole bunch of details in between. So I'd like to say hi to everybody over on the main page, everybody on the radio page. I'd also like to say hello to everyone on Twitter. I'd like to say hello to everybody on YouTube. We are off YouTube restrictions, so how you doing there, Mr. and Mrs. YouTube? And where else? Mixer? We've always got a good crowd over in Mixer.
We've always got a couple people there saying hello to us, too.
Como and Rotec and freaking Botface. He kind of showed up for a little bit last night, and then he left again.
Oh, jeez. What are we going to do? We're going to have to break him down and rank even again more?
Well, once you're an E1, I don't want to have his ass chaptered.
Maybe we need a female Sergeant Botface.
Or maybe if we just put him in charge of something.
That would work.
So you fuck up and move up. Isn't that the way things work?
That seems to be the military way.
I'm seeing answers all over the place for the Peace Corps question.
I don't doubt it, because that's a rough one.
It is a hard one. It is hard.
Well, do you want to go on to the next story?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, an Army veteran and former emergency service technician will receive the life-saving kidney he needs next week, thanks in part to a quick conversation he had with a barista at the Starbucks he frequents every Monday morning on his way to work. Vince Delano, 41, was diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease 11 years ago and recently began weekly dialysis, which is something he has been dreading since his diagnosis. But he won't be on dialysis for long, as he is scheduled to receive a kidney from Justin McNeil, a fellow Army veteran who happens to be married to Nicole McNeil, the barista who prepares Villani's coffee every morning. Nicole McNeil said in a news release posted at the Starbucks website that she noticed Villano seemed upset while she took his order one morning 2 years ago. The two spoke for a few minutes, excuse me, and he told her about the kidney disease that had plagued his family for decades and how his future was now deemed uncertain because of it. He was on a wait list but knew it could be years before he found a match. When I was first diagnosed, I felt like, well, I'm dying, he said. It was not my first encounter with mortality. I have had situations in the military, But this was really out of my control. There's nothing you can do. It's kind of a black cloud that hangs over your head all the time. Polycystic kidney disease is a genetic illness that causes cysts to develop in the kidneys, resulting in enlarged organs that lose function. According to the Mayo Clinic, the disease can also cause serious complications like high blood pressure and kidney failure. McNeil told her husband about her customer's health trouble and said he immediately responded with, "I have a kidney, he can have mine." Bolano has since grown close to the McNeils and their children, and testing soon came back revealing that Justin's kidney would be a good match. They will undergo surgery on the 26th of December.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, right? Here, have a kidney.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a sister who had to go through a transplant, and she just went through it recently. And she's been on the list for years.
For a kidney, really?
Yeah.
Is she just waiting for an acceptable donor, like a blood type, or?
Actually, I think it was the liver, and she had to wait for a donor, and it took. She's been on the list for 3 years.
Dude, that's a long time.
They didn't even diagnose her. She was in so much pain, and they couldn't figure it out. And finally, one doctor ran the right test, and they said, "You got a big problem." And luckily, where she lives, one of the Mayo clinics is actually pretty close, and they're one of the leading hospitals in the United States that performs transplants every year. And so she was lucky enough.
Did I hear you correctly? You said it's liver?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
And she just had it last month.
How's she doing?
So much better. I mean, she went in and her color was horrible. She was taking in a lot of oxygen, was always hurting, because you have to understand, anytime you've got any kind of internal organ problem, it actually causes your body, because your body's not getting enough nutrients or the right nutrients, it actually causes your body to have muscle atrophy problems. So in effect, it basically, your muscles feel like they're at constant tension because they aren't getting the nutrients that they need or the oxygen they need.
So your body goes into self-preservation mode, and it says, well, we don't need this anymore. We don't need that anymore. We need to fight this thing over here, so we're going to let everything else kind of fall by the wayside.
And it does. And
dude, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad she's doing better.
I was very happy when I heard she got the phone call in the evening and was in that night, and she was doing better the next day, to the point where she actually had color in her face. And
other than yellow.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem, is people don't realize you don't look normal when you've got things like that going on. A friend of mine who works at a place I take my vehicle, he went through a kidney transplant, and up until then, his whole day was worked around dialysis, and that's all you have is dialysis.
Yeah, but my mom had she actually died from renal failure. So she had kidney issues, she had pancreas issues, she had liver issues, she was just in a lot of pain for a long time. And back then, medicine wasn't what it was today.
And that's just it. People, as old as I am, I can remember back when the transplants were just coming to fruition. And I can remember hearing about the first transplants and how much it took to go through them, and all these, back then you didn't have the drugs you have now to keep you from rejecting organs, and it was so much. And to this point now where transplants in some hospitals are routine.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They
Especially
have
livers. Especially livers and kidneys.
Yes.
And
they
hearts
have a
are
high
becoming more
success rate.
routine. Hearts are becoming more routine.
Well, yeah. More and more as people don't donate, more and more people are able to live when other people die.
Hey,
so
I mean,
it's excellent, and I mean I'm happy to hear of a story that is such a success. The 26th, this guy is going to get a new lease on his life.
A new lease on life from an Army veteran.
Yes. So we're
good people, man.
We're part of brotherhood. We take care of ourselves, and it's so nice to hear that people are helping each other out.
Hey, I'm gonna kill this poll question because I got a few more. I got 3 more after this one. So the question is: the Peace Corps used to be a part of blank prior to 1981, and your choices are the Department of Defense, Department of State, Department of the Interior, or Department of Labor. And the correct answer is the Department of State. Peace Corps used to be a part of the Department of State. Until 1981, it became autonomous. It's its own entity.
You know, I guess I can see that because Department of State deals with overseas, and the Peace Corps used to be known for going overseas.
Yeah.
So they had to be actually ambassadors. So I can see that, I guess.
Now here's a hard one. Here's a hard one because if you're not at least familiar with Team Old, you might not know this.
Okay, what is it?
The question is, who played George Bailey? Who played the character George Bailey in the movie It's a Wonderful Life?
Oh.
Your choices are James Cagney, Alan Alda, Jimmy Stewart, or John Denver.
Oh, that, yeah, okay.
I needed an extra name, and that's what I came up with. Don't judge me.
I was going to say, and you were thinking about that, huh?
I was. So, do you remember the story that we did back in June about the dancing FBI agent that inadvertently shot another person?
Yes, I do.
Well, he has had his day in court.
Do tell.
A dancing FBI agent who accidentally fired his gun, striking a man in the leg after doing a backflip at a Denver bar in June, will avoid jail time after pleading guilty to third-degree assault. Chase Bishop, age 30, struck a plea deal with prosecutors and was sentenced to 2 years of probation. He must also pay more than $1,600 in fines and in court costs. Footage of the shooting that you're seeing right now on the screen at the Mile High Spirits and Distillery went viral. The video showed Bishop dancing in the middle of a circle before doing a backflip. During the backflip, his gun fell to the ground and discharged as Bishop went to pick it up. After the shot, Bishop was seen putting the weapon in his waistband holster and then walking away while holding his hands up. Now, you can see the reaction of the people all around him. They're like, oh, my God, what just happened?
Exactly.
And people are like, getting the fuck out of the way. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, man. So my whole goal in life, and this is a quote from Mr. Bishop, my whole goal in life is to care and protect and serve people. I never expected the result of my actions to lead to something like this. He pleaded not guilty in November to second-degree assault, which carries a penalty of up to 16 years in prison. Bishop will serve his probation in Georgia. He was in Denver at the time of the incident for FBI business and was off duty at the time of the shooting. The FBI declined to say whether he would continue to work at the agency. Tom Reddington, age 24, was the man who was shot, and he spoke in court saying that he lost his job at an Amazon warehouse following the shooting, and he may never be able to run again. I've done months of physical therapy, Reddington said. I've sought counseling. However, being in public, especially seeing law enforcement with guns, makes me very uncomfortable. However, he added that he does not hold a personal grudge against Bishop, and he doesn't think he deserved to spend years in jail.
Well, that's what happens when you don't leave your gun at home when you're off duty.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm authorized to carry, I'm going to carry, but I'm also not going to be doing backflips.
No, that's called being conscious of what you are and what you've got.
Correct.
I mean, that's kind of, it's sad. I mean, and I'm sorry, most holsters have the ability to hold it in even in a backflip.
Yeah, dude, I can jump out of an airplane with mine, and my gun's not going to come loose.
Right. I mean, so he was being negligent in more than one way, and you have to wonder if the FBI is going to keep him, or if they're going to demote him, or what. I
wonder, since he's an agent, they might stick him on like as a desk job or something. And Kamo has a good comment. He says, you carry for long enough and you tend to forget it's there. I can understand that, but I can't understand that. I always know what I've got and where it is.
Exactly.
Was he drinking? There was nothing in the documentation that said whether he was or was not drinking. I mean, who goes to a distillery and doesn't drink a little bit? Being an FBI agent, he can. I'm not sure what the laws in Colorado are. Yeah, I know you can't. You can't. I don't think you can't be intoxicated. You can't be intoxicated and carry a weapon.
Yeah, I was going to say if he did a backflip, I'd say there's a good chance he was intoxicated. But you would think if he had a gun on him, he wouldn't be.
Right, and those details aren't available. So let the court system play out, and it is what it is.
Yes,
I'm glad nobody was killed. No,
and the person who got shot, one way or another, is going to be taken care of.
You're right.
For the norm. So, do we want to go on to the next story?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you are still looking for the perfect gift for the person who has everything, look no further than some of the odd headlines of the year for inspiration.
This is quite a collection. This is quite a collection.
The perfect gift for that special someone in your life who loves breakfast foods but never leaves the house. IHOP's pancake ware.
I wonder if Spanky's listening. There's a couple of food items in here, and I think if Spanky was listening, she would probably get on the internet and probably order herself a pair of these.
Yeah, I know. You look at this, and this is just hilarious. I mean, lounge pants and socks will help your loved one say, "I wish I could go to IHOP, but I refuse to change out of my pajamas." You have to be wondering at this point how many people are going to show up to IHOP in those.
And there's not just the pajama pants. They have shirts and bags and cups and things. But I picked this picture in particular just because it just reminds me of both Minx, Mom, and Spanky. It's just this is like as dressed up as they get when they don't have to go anywhere. This is probably too dressed up.
Well, I would not know that, but you have met them.
No, they've said it on air.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Minx is just like, I'm dating somebody now, and I'm their kids are around the house, and I just can't walk around with no pants on. So this is a reasonable substitute. Oh hey, so who played George Bailey in not Miracle on 34th Street, but It's a Wonderful Life?
Oh.
Do you know the correct answer?
I give up. Who played?
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart.
For those of you that don't know, that's anybody who's watched any Jimmy Stewart, he has been known to stutter a little.
He does to a point, but he's Jimmy Stewart. my Jimmy Stewart impersonation sucks.
It's probably better than mine.
And it's not John Denver. That was the name. I'm like, I need another name. Give me another name. I need another name.
Come on. What were you thinking of when you said John Denver? Come on.
I was actually looking for another Jimmy.
Oh. Should have said Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon. Sounds nothing like Jimmy Stewart.
No. Well, with those pajamas, all the proceeds from the food printed clothing line created to celebrate IHOP's 60th anniversary are being donated to the Children's Miracle Networks Hospital.
That's pretty cool.
And what do you get for the fashionista in your life that has everything?
Nothing, or something close to nothing.
There you go. How about almost nothing?
Okay.
Nothing, that is, but enough outline of pair of a pants. And
I don't know, man. If I
actually
had a fashionista in my life that looked like that, sure.
Yeah, no problems. Yeah, didn't we do a story on this one?
I don't think so. I don't remember. Not me.
Oh, no. That's when I was going through rotation. We actually did a story when I actually was just coming into WTF.
Oh, when you were bouncing around shows to find your fit?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember this coming up, and it's like everybody's just looking at them like, there's nothing to them. Come on, people.
Hey, Camo, that's a really, really good guess, but you're a little bit low.
Yeah, those things weren't they like $200 or $300?
No, I think they were like 100 and maybe do I not have the cost of that? Yeah, I've got the price in there.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. Oh, you're right. You do. The Kamar Extreme cutout jeans featuring virtually no coverage, but plenty of space in those large front pockets, just made sure you remind the recipient of your $168 scrap of denim to put on some clean underwear before going out.
But they've got pockets. Women like pockets.
You know, that's what I have heard. Women do like pockets. And you know, the funny part is women's jeans didn't used to have pockets.
I have there's a female engineer that I work with. She works in the mechanical shop, so she's like a structures person. And she was wearing a pair of jeans, and I handed her something. I think I might have been passing out Christmas cards or something. I hear, just stick that in your pocket. And she's like, I'm a woman. I don't have pockets. I wish I had pockets. And she showed me, she goes, because it looks like she has pockets on the front of her pants. But no, they're not. They're fake.
Yeah, and a lot of women have said they don't want the pockets because that means that the pants are a little bit more baggy.
And my daughter's a 20-year-old woman, and she'll walk around with her with her jeans on, and she puts her phone in her back pocket, and even the back pockets are lacking. She doesn't have a front pocket; it has a fake front pocket, and there's this little coin purse looking back pocket.
Yep. And that's mainly because women want to not necessarily show things in their pants that or outlines of things. They just want to show what's in the pants.
Or underneath the pockets.
Female chauvinist. Okay. What makes perfect bourbon?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm more of a whiskey. I like whiskey. I don't know. I think it's like the barrel that it's aged in. It's got to be.
It is notes of vanilla, oak, caramel, beaver. Give the connoisseur in your life a drink that'll.
Did you say beaver?
Yeah, I said beaver. Tansworth Distilling and Mercantile's Eau de Musk, which contains scent oils from the castor sacs of New Hampshire beavers.
No way.
Right?
Okay.
The Bucktooth Booze, which is 88 proof and costs $65 for a 6.7 ounce bottle, was described by Tansworth Distillery Matt Power as leathery, rich, and slightly fruity. Oh my.
Okay. I haven't done my research, so shame on me. What exactly is the castor sac of a beaver?
Exactly what you think it is.
I'm thinking maybe like a scent gland, so they can
Exactly.
It's like on a dog.
What?
It's like on a dog. They got the glands up there and then near their hind end.
I think so. Yes.
So it's something like that. They can mark their territory.
Yeah, and that's in fact, thinking about it now, yes, you're right. It's the scent gland.
So someone up in the hills of New Hampshire is like, I bet you that make whiskey taste pretty good.
Yeah, you just have to sit there wondering, going, really? You can't come up with something better?
Okay, question. Do they harvest these from beavers, or are they taken from killed beavers, like dead beavers?
That is a good question.
We
and
have
truthfully,
questions.
I don't know that I want the answer.
I mean, it'd be good if it was a renewable resource, and these poor beavers aren't suffering because of someone wants a good tasting bourbon.
Oh, and hello, Josh. It's good to see you in the room. Also, we've got a good crowd tonight.
We got a great crowd. Norm, I haven't seen you here before. Welcome to the show.
We've always got a good crowd. Our crowd is the best because they like us.
And they're not all team old. I know some of the ages of these folks, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know the person in your life, likely a teenager, who's always asking for expensive, high-fashion items, but you know that when whatever you buy them is going to quickly get destroyed by negligence. Well, good news. The Superstar taped sneaker made by fashion brand Golden Goose and sold online by Nordstrom has all the appeal of high fashion price tag, $530 for a single pair, but with the dirty, taped together aesthetic of gym shoes that were left in the backyard for the weekend and fixed with packing tape after being run over by the lawnmower.
Dude, I can't believe people pay money for these things. When I first saw this picture, I'm thinking, okay, Kanye West and his Yeezy, these are like his Yeezy sneakers or whatever. Because he sells like jackets that are all holy and stuff, kind of like those pants that we saw earlier.
Uh-huh.
But someone's doing that with sneakers now.
Yep.
Run them over with a car, wrap some holes up with some duct tape. Well, whatever. $500.
I mean, that is truly just, jeez.
Add this to your Christmas list, folks. They might be on sale for about $420 after the holiday.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay, what about the millennial life, or millennial in your life? Beaver bourbon isn't vegan, and $530 shoes aren't bourgeois. Today's 20 and 30-somethings don't want consumer goods. They want experiences. What experience could be more appropriate than a night in Ralphie's house from A Christmas Story?
I've been to this house.
The Cleveland home was used for the exterior shots of the 1983 Christmas classic, and owner Brian Jones, 42, has spent the last decade and a half turning the inside into a replica of the soundstage sets from the film. A one-night stay will run you about $3,000 during the Christmas season.
$3,000.
Yeah, Dara, big Dara.
I've been there. I've been there. That house is just in the middle of a neighborhood. It's really awesome. They my kids were in the. Let me see. I got pictures of them in the kitchen. The living room with the leg lamp there. We actually bought one of those leg lamps and gave it to my in-laws, my ex-in-laws, for Christmas, and they proudly, dude. We bought it as a joke, and they love it. They proudly display it every year.
Well, the Cleveland home was used for the. Oh, excuse me. Is there? Didn't mean to go this quick, but I've never actually watched that movie, A Christmas Story.
It's okay. There's two camps. It's either you love it or you hate it. I'm on the hate it side. I'm not a fan of that movie. I'm more of Christmas Vacation, It's a Wonderful Life. Die Hard.
In fact, I was just watching Christmas Vacation today. That and Daffy Duck's. What's the Carol story?
A Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol story.
Oh yeah, with Scrooge McDuck.
Yes, there you go.
I also like Scrooged.
I love Scrooged. You know how many people don't even know that movie?
To see the fairy beat the shit out of Bill Murray with a toaster.
That was hilarious.
Is worth it. Knocks his ass out with a toaster.
And what's this? Bam! Or blowing fairy dust on his cheek, and there's a little X that shows up, and she smacks him.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay, so we had the last poll question: which Christmas food is known for its very long shelf life? Candy corn, fruitcake, Aunt Bethany's Jell-O. That's from Christmas Vacation. Or Stover's assorted chocolates. And the correct answer, according to my book, is fruitcake. I would argue that candy corn has a longer shelf life, but that's more of a Halloween candy.
Go.
But then there's Stover's assorted chocolate. That stuff tastes like butthole. It's really bad.
I haven't had butthole. Does that mean you have?
No, I mean, if I had one, I imagine that's what it would taste like. My ex-wife's grandmother would send us boxes of Stover chocolate, and we would sit in front of the television watching whatever Christmas movie came on. Yeah. And we would have this huge box of chocolate opened in front of us. And we would all just grab something, take a bite of it. If it's good, continue to eat it. If it's not good, spit it out. Go to the next one.
Yeah.
So we'd have, at the end of the night, would have an entire box that 2/3 of it or more were pieces of chocolate that had like one bite out of it. And then the rest was like, spit back into the wrapper and put into the box.
Oh, that's sad. And see, do you like Whittaker's?
They're in the same category as Stover's, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, my wife will go out and buy a big box of Whittaker's and take it to her office. It's 11-pound box.
Well, it's because she hates all the people she works with.
Well, they all go on diets during the winter.
All right, what you got for the next gift?
Okay, is there a special someone in your life whose favorite things include candy and mac and cheese? Well, why not ruin their love of both with the mac and cheese candy canes from novelty company Archie McPhee? The $5.95 comfort food that tastes like comfort food is a relative bargain compared to the rest of the gifts on this list. And if mac and cheese doesn't sound right to you, candy canes are also available in flavors including, and get this, pickle, bacon, rotisserie chicken, and shellfish flavored clamdy canes.
Oh God.
That just makes me shiver.
Can we get through the rest of these before break?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Maybe there's someone in your life who feels like they've outgrown the music of Christmas. Maybe you want to spend $13,000 proving them wrong. The very old and rare whiskey advent calendar from Drinks by the Dram will restore your loved one's sense of wonder, or at least get them drunk enough to fake it. The Advent calendar includes 24 small servings of exotic and rare liqueurs, including complex Japanese whiskeys, and a 60-year-old Scotch. The calendar retails for $12,977.19.
I'll buy two. If I buy two, do I get free shipping?
You would hope, right? As any true breakfast lover will tell you, the best part of sausage is the smell. Well, now you have the perfect gifts for your loved ones. Why not wrap them in the savory embrace of Jimmy Dean sausage-scented wrapping paper?
If you have dogs, they're gonna go crazy for it. If that smell is authentic at all,
they're gonna go nuts.
They're gonna go crazy over that. You might have a stupid tie wrapped in that wrapping paper.
Exactly, right? The wrapping paper, part of a promotion that also features a sausage ornament for your tree and an apron printed to resemble an ugly Christmas sweater.
You know what's kind of funny about the wrapping paper? I was looking up novelty wrapping paper. They make wrapping paper that says like "fuck off."
Oh,
bah humbug. It's really kind of cool. But everybody was like sold out. I'm gonna have to order early next year.
Okay, finally. You have all the perfect gifts wrapped neatly in sausage-scented paper. There's only one problem. How are you going to fit all this loot under your Christmas tree? The solution? Argo's half parasol Christmas tree. The 6-foot-tall fake fur abruptly goes bald halfway down, providing plenty of space for your generous gifts. The company said the tree is also perfect for protecting the branches from your cats.
I know a couple of cats, and they're just like, well, that's just a clear path up to the. It's a clear path up to the ornaments.
I was gonna say, and cats can jump that. They could easily jump and they can start going for those nice baubles there at the bottom.
Well, it's like a scratching post on the way up to the ornaments. It's kind of an adventure.
Exactly. So that is our last-minute Christmas list, if you're interested.
Wow. There's a lot of great ideas. Probably not going to have enough time to take care of that this year, but maybe next year someone's going to get something wrapped in some sausage-scented wrapping paper.
I'll think of you, especially since your daughter's bringing home a dog.
She is, and it's going to be great. His name's Oliver. There will be pictures.
I hope so.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a really quick break, and we're going to be joined back when we come back by Ty Oswald from Bearded Warriors. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. This is going to be great. Hang tight, y'all.
Shots.
Is it necessary for me to drink my own urine? No, but I do it anyway because it's sterile and I like the taste.
WTF Nation Radio.
Is there a reason for us to make this thing still
voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Merry Christmas. We are back with the second hour of Kicking It with Kaz. I'm Kaz, and I'm here with my my trusty partner, Owl.
And I'm Al.
And we have somebody else here. We have Ty Oswald from Bearded Warriors. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Dude, I'm so happy you could be with us tonight. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm actually excited to be on here. This is really cool.
Oh, thank you, man. I totally appreciate it. So tell me about Bearded Warriors, man. You guys do a bunch of stuff. You were, first of all, I like you a whole lot because you're an avionics guy. I'm an avionics guy.
Yeah. There's not many out there.
You know, there's really not. The Army kind of restructured their, as far as their aviation maintenance. And there used to be an MOS. It was a 68 Romeo. And that was an avionics special equipment repair. And then when I joined up, we were 35 series, and then we went to 68 series, and nothing changed. It was just a number. And then they changed from 68 to 12 something.
15.
15. My bad.
Yeah.
But then
It changed while I was going to school, because I signed up as a 68, and then by the time I graduated, we were 15.
Yeah, I signed up as a 35. It changed to a 68, and I got out, and now it's a 15. But there's no real avionics anymore.
Not true like it used to be. They combined a bunch of guys together from, I think it's Yankees, Novembers, and a bunch of them, and made one, and then spread them out amongst specific aircraft versus just you're an avionics guy.
Oh, so they got rid of like the because I was radar, and then there was comm, there was nav. So they kind of
they put everybody. They combine, they put everybody kind of together and then made it aircraft specific and some other stuff. I think they've even kind of changed it up since I've been out.
Oh, so if the promotion was tight enough, they made it even tighter. They flooded the market again.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It was
Yeah, I was in for 8 years, and very few people were promoted within the MOS because there were so many. Like when Pershing missiles went away, we got a lot of NCOs that came in. So they came in from their Pershing MOS where they were already E5s or above, or you had a bunch of reclasses from the infantry where you can show up with a fresh box of crayons and a heartbeat, and then they make you an NCO. So all these NCOs are coming in. So no one that was actually experienced and within that MOS got promoted. It was always, everyone in our MOS, or in my MOS at least when I was in, would have to reclass to like EOD or air traffic control or something to get promoted.
Yeah, it was super top-sided when I was in.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't lead to me getting out, but that was a factor in it because, like I said, there was nowhere going up. So.
Right, so you were with H Company 159, 2nd ACR. And you were in Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003.
Right.
And then you didn't get out until
just behind 3rd ID and the Marines when they went in.
Sweet. So you were there with the surge. A little bit of the surge. Was that the tail end of the surge?
We were kind of like it wasn't all the way over, but we were there right as it was. We were going through kind of playing cleanup on everything else that was destroyed right before we got there. So we really didn't have any problems because everybody was still really scared.
Oh, because you were, I mean, dude, I was a civilian. When I was in Iraq, I was a civilian. I had been out for a long time, and I went and I supported a Kiowa Warrior unit from Alaska. So that was great. That was just awesome. That's an awesome aircraft.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Are you working in the aviation field now, or are you?
When I got out was for the Apache, and they're like, "Oh, it'll be a straight transition." No,
not really. Are you working in the aviation field now, or you got something else going on?
No, I'm doing pretty much beat up full time now on a volunteer basis. With some of my military injuries and stuff like that, it put me out working. So I'm at 100% because of back and leg and other issues. So
I'm sorry to hear about that, man. The VA taking care of you pretty well?
It's one of those. They are, yeah, they are. Like I said, I've had no quorums. I mean, it may have taken a little bit of time to get everything situated, but now that everything's straight, they got it all kind of figured out.
Same here, and you're in the Huntsville, Alabama area, which it's got a large veteran population, so they kind of have to do a good job.
Yeah, they do. There's a huge. It's from did a couple years and got out, moved back, Reserve National Guard, and then got stationed at Redstone and retired and stayed. So there's a multitude of MOSs and backgrounds and where froms and stuff. So that yeah.
So this effort that you have, Bearded Warriors. I mean, because you got out in 2006, so there was a time between 2006 and 2013 where Bearded Warriors was thought of. What was your inspiration?
Mostly due to my own need. So when I got out, especially in this area, because Redstone was still kind of is a non-deploying Army base, because most of everything here is staff and admin positions. And so when I left for the military and then came back, not so much the military side being a disconnect, but the being military and then having combat experience was the disconnect, because even though I could relate to, my parents' friends, people that I knew from in the military before I had left and whatnot, there was, I could have the conversation to a certain point, and then it got awkward for me to try to share with some of the people just because of our relationships.
Right.
And so that kind of withdrew myself a lot from who I was hanging around with and doing stuff like that. And then it just got to a point where not going out and doing stuff or making excuses got to affecting work, and people asking me what was going on at work that was, driven from my off work time. And I kind of decided, hey, doing the same thing over and over again isn't working, so I've got to do something else. And then so I decided, well, let me try to reach out and see if there's any kind of a support group or guys that get together on a regular basis, or girls, but vets that get together on a regular basis to have that in-service camaraderie that you have when you work with people in and out and knowing what's going on, that are like-minded. And after a couple of months of that, there wasn't anything there, which is really hard to believe, having grown up here and knowing how many veterans lived in this area. And so then it went to, well, who can I find to do that? And then that kind of ran dry. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll do it. And so fast forward 5 years, last week, here we are.
That's really awesome. I mean, because for the longest time, I was missing the military, and I ETS'd in '96, and I've always missed the military. But I work for a defense contractor, so I'm surrounded kind of by veterans, but it's not the same. It is the same at work, but there's nothing really off work. I live kind of far away from work, so it's not like we all can just meet up and hang out. We share and we BS at work, but then the weekend comes and there's nothing there. And that's when I found U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. And it's great because I'm like 1 second away from a conversation with a brother that I've probably never served with, or a sister. And I really, really appreciate the camaraderie. And it's just it's like being a Joe again. And I missed that.
100%.
I completely missed that a lot, and that was part of my motivation for going to Iraq, because I knew I was going to be surrounded by either Joes or people who had been in the military. So here I am in the middle of Iraq, and I'm having a damn good time because I'm surrounded by friends and brothers and sisters. There's really something to be said about the camaraderie that is what you form in the military. I mean, you're all in the suck together. and there's a
Yeah,
bond
that's what I
formed.
try to
Whether
explain to
whether you know
the
it,
guy that I deployed with, I haven't seen him since we got back.
yeah,
But we talk on Facebook and text and call each other all the time, kind of thing. And it's like, we became lifelong family because even though you look back, it was the absolute worst everything, worst weather, worst conditions. I mean, anything you can imagine that could be the worst ever. Yet when you look back at it now, it's probably the best time that we ever had because it sucks so much.
that's an excellent way to put it.
It is exactly right.
So what do you guys do? I mean, you guys get together. You guys do like a monthly meetup.
We do. We get together every 22nd of the month at 5 o'clock.
I love that date. I love that date.
Breweries in town.
I love that date.
It's family. It's family friendly. So I mean, you can bring the kids. There's a huge backyard, which makes it a little bit easier because people are like, I don't want to get out because of the kids, and I'm like, well, I have my son full time, and so I would feel bad if I said, hey, you can't bring your kids, but don't mind my 8-year-old sitting over there, because but with that, it brings in a whole dynamic. So not only do I get to connect with veterans and vice versa with other local vets, but then somebody's wife can talk to somebody else's wife. Somebody that just got out can talk to a couple that has been out for a couple of years on, hey, these are the things that you may or may not deal with or go through. The kids can get together and hang out. The wives can get together and let the kids play together. The guys can go together. The women can go out and have like girls' night. The guys can have dudes' night. We all get together, have like Friendsgiving or family potlucks. We do all kinds of stuff. Like the 100% is family oriented because if I'm dealing with something, whether it's outside or whatnot, so is significant others, your mom, your dad, your sister, your kids. And so that gives everybody a network to lean on, but it also gives everybody a like-minded network to lean on because everybody's kind of dealing with the same thing, just maybe at a different level or a different point.
Right, because everyone's not going through. They're not battling their demons themselves, and it's not so much battling demons. It's just feeling out of place, feeling like you don't connect.
Right.
To be around people. I mean,
and that way you don't feel. Yeah, and you don't feel like you've been. And I'll even my own self, I felt I almost felt a little forgotten, but I did it to myself because going back to when I isolated myself from everybody, it got to a point where people would ask me to go do something, and I either had an excuse or I'd say I'd be there and not show up. Well, then they would just quit inviting me, and then it's like, well, damn, nobody remembers to ask me. But at the same time, I got to sit there and look back and go, well, I also kind of made it to where they don't want to ask me because they know I'm not going to show up.
And that is the norm, actually, for a lot of guys when they get out. That's usually happens within the first couple years. People start feeling the need, like us, we feel the need to reconnect. The problem is there are limitations. I mean, the VFW isn't always family oriented, and neither is the American Legion, right? Because they focus on their little centers and they have alcohol and they have these functions where actually you're expected not to bring your kid. And that's how kind of
that's the biggest thing. Yeah, right. And that's the biggest thing that I wanted to stay away from is because, just like you have your regular family with parents or brothers and sisters and cousins and stuff like that you lean on any other time, your battle buddies when you were in are just as much a family and lean on. So you include everybody.
Yes.
Because, I know there's some people out there, depending on their family dynamic, they would go out and take a bullet for somebody that they met on the street because they knew they were a vet before they did somebody they related to, which is here nor there, but at the same time, that's just kind of the way it works out. So family is kind of a fuzzy line, but hey, anybody that wants to come hang out, it's like the more the merrier.
Family isn't a fuzzy line when it comes to veterans. We're family. The question,
right.
Okay, about your organization. Now, is it actually structured? Is it a nonprofit? Is it just a volunteer formed loosely? How have you formed it?
So we've done it a couple different ways. Before it was just a group, like a community organization, just a group of people.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we fell up underneath another group that for the nonprofit stuff. We kind of separated from them, and then we are under our own nonprofit now.
Okay.
The biggest thing that I push for is I could care less if you want to give me money, because I can do more with your time and you doing the stuff that we're doing or helping do stuff that we're going out to do. Because my biggest push is for after service community involvement, because that's what gets people out of the house, off the couch, engaged, depending on what it is that we're volunteering for. It gives a mission again.
And that's what's needed, because
that's a lot of the battle is finding a mission after the mission.
Exactly. And when you've got you've got the problem of that, it's too easy to fall into the routine of, well, I've got a gaming system and I've got everything I need. I can order it off Amazon. I'll be like everybody else. But the thing is, we're not like everybody else. I mean, in the military, how often did you really use game systems? You were out there bust ass. And that's kind of something Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, and that's what everybody gets used to, is they get used to doing something with their hands. They get used to being a part of something. And then when you come out, well, now what? And and what you're saying is this gives everybody a chance to actually to be participating in something, one, with like-minded people, but at the same time, the community sees it. And they don't see it.
And it gives you... And there's a huge return on it, because for the last 3 weeks, there's been a group of us from the group have been going out and volunteering and collecting donation items for local homeless vets and the local homeless people in general, because everybody kind of intermixes in that community. So over the last 3 weeks, we've been able to help over 150 homeless people in the local area, Huntsville, Madison, Athens, Decatur, jackets, hats, gloves, socks, wipes, toiletries, hoagie bait, tarps, stuff like that they need. On a regular, for the last 3 weeks, they've been getting donation drop-offs from us for that. And then a week prior to that, we got 45 homeless vets that were in the local area, and took them over to one of the local stylists and got them all top to bottom haircuts. They left with huge grab bags of all the stuff that typically you're asked for, kind of thing, plus some. We had snacks and coffee and everything. And we had the guys and girls that were there from the group were like, I didn't really have any expectation of coming into this, but I want to do more of this now. And now that I know how to do it, we can do it. I can even do this on my own outside of the group. And so it gives somebody something to look forward to, because, the return on the judge of character is how a person will help somebody that could never return what they're giving them.
Yeah.
I had a guy that I was dropping off after his haircut, and I was telling a couple people, I was like, I really needed some sunglasses on that drive back. And they were like, why? And I was like, well, he was an older gentleman, probably in his 60s. And he was just talking to his guys in the back of the truck. And he's like, this is the first time that somebody's treated me like a human being in the last 6 months. And all we did was give the guy a haircut.
That means a lot, man. That means so much.
Yeah.
And we actually have interviewed people who have gone out and worked with the homeless and talked about what the issues that you've just mentioned, where people don't treat you like you're human when you're homeless. So it makes the big difference. And especially if there are, our military brothers and sisters, we forget that some of them, when they come back, the disconnect you talk about, you at least had a shelter. Some of these guys, they can't even take responsibility for a shelter, even if they've got the money.
Right. Well, I ran into a guy today. We came back from Mobile. We did a weekend trip down there, and one of the stops for lunch, we noticed there was an Army backpack and then a small black dog sitting outside in the outside sitting area.
Yeah.
And while everybody was inside eating, I excused myself and walked out and talked to the guy, and he was a 82nd Airborne vet from the late Vietnam era, and he just said that he's been roaming pretty much since he got out. And I was like, good Lord, dude, that's like 20-something years. And he's like, I just kind of go wherever I feel like I need to go, and I got a dog on the way, and I just hang out. So, I mean, I went in and bought him some food and a couple of burgers for his dog kind of thing. But it's like, you know, there's people out there, and you don't know what their stories are, and it doesn't really matter. But it goes back to, I'm not gonna walk away and just leave you hanging, because I know that you've been there and done that. So the least I can do is buy you a burger and a Coke.
And that's sometimes our listeners, we need to remember that sometimes all it takes is a little bit to help boost someone up where they can stand up a little.
Or to just
not going to hurt you.
Treat someone like a human. Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
What's your name? We get inundated. I mean, even as I drive home, I live in an inner city area, and it's really hard because you don't know who you can trust. You see the guys that are standing on the corner, panhandling.
Yeah.
And they're holding signs, and it says, Navy vet, and then something, and you're like, how much truth is that to their story? I mean, to their little placard, is that true? Or are you just saying you're a vet? And I'm not going to say never has it occurred to me to just, ask them what their story is. It's just, I just automatically assume that they're bullshitting. And I feel like an ass for it.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to, though, with all the stories you see with people posting videos on YouTube.
Right.
I mean, I can look at, if you got the time to ask, you can usually ask one or two questions and know if somebody's giving you a bullshit story or not, because they're either going to hesitate or they say, oh, a lot. And this guy today, not that he was BSing me or whatever. I mean, he was on it kind of thing. Like any question I asked, he was right there on it kind of thing. And, I'm kind of a history buff, so I was able to, internally fact check kind of with stuff that he was saying and time frames and stuff. So it was one of those, but at the same time, a couple bucks for a burger, that's not gonna kill me kind of thing. It's one of those, if once I give it to you, what you do with it is on you. I at least know that I tried to help you, whether you're BSing me or not. But
yeah. Hey, do you guys do you in your area, do you do a stand down?
There is a local chapter here that I think last year something happened with it. There's actually the guy, my barber, his cousin, is restanding that organization up under new people, and so we're trying to get them trying to get more involved with them specifically now that I know who's running it and stuff like that. But that's an awesome event. That's an awesome event for low income and homeless vets too, because they bring you in for a couple of days, get your haircut, dental, help you with paperwork, give you some necessities and material that you may need to. What's that?
Old surplus.
Yeah.
Uniforms.
Right. Oops. Yeah. They help you. Like I said, they pretty much give you anything that you want for the 2 or 3 days that they've got you to help you out while you're out there, kind of thing. I said I think it's an awesome thing.
Half of that battle.
I wish they were able to do more of it.
Half of that battle is you have veterans that are in a really bad position, so they're out panhandling for money or whatnot, that have not gotten enrolled in the VA or haven't gotten in touch with any organizations that can provide assistance, so these veterans can get on their feet. A lot of it's that hand up that they don't have.
A lot of it is not. I mean, just like that's the biggest thing for us. I mean, if you read, our tagline for the group is Bearded Warriors, Veteran Suicide Prevention and Resource Awareness. That's the biggest thing that I try to push is if I find an organization or a person or anything that's offering something that helps. Whether, I mean, it doesn't have to be veteran, or it doesn't have to be suicide related at all. It could just be anything. You know, the knowledge of something being out there is key, because as many people that I've had request help for something, I probably had to double that amount on the other side saying, hey, I have this, who can I give it to? Because that's the disconnect. And I think that's the biggest thing that's helped me out with being the bridge is I know who needs it, and I also know who has it to try to get them together.
That's a good service to have.
Information is key, because you might not have the answers, but you know people that will have the answers or have the abilities.
Right. And we have there's bearded warrior members all over the country, so it's one of those. If it's not here locally, somebody says, "Hey, I got a guy in Austin." Well, I know 4 or 5 people in San Antonio that know somebody over in that area, so I link everybody together that way, and then run down that local resource where they're at, kind of thing. So it's a huge network of just who do you know.
Yeah, and that's what I think a lot of us are lacking is the networking that needs to happen. I mean, military, we're when we're in the military, we communicate. When we get out of the military, we forget to communicate.
100%.
And I mean, locally, we've got something that's being put together that's supposed to be helping out veterans. But again, that's locally. And are we really communicating with other cities and other townships to try to expand that network? And unfortunately, the answer is usually no.
Right. And well, I think a lot of times happen too is you ask one person and they tell you no. And a lot of people, because they don't know who else to go to, that's where it stops. Instead of saying, okay, well, you said no. Maybe I'll go ask this next guy. Maybe he'll say yeah.
And exactly. Resources, knowing your resources, being understanding what your community has for veterans is something that really needs to be known. I mean, like here in our area, we actually have a resource that if someone says they're homeless and they are a veteran, I can tell them a person to go to who immediately, in less than an hour, can connect them to a veteran representation or a VA representation. And if they are truly a veteran, they'll know it within half an hour, and they will automatically start processing them through to get them resources to make them so if they don't want to be homeless, they don't have to be.
Right. And that's something that I'm actually trying to be, not really trying to be, but trying to champion with our downtown rescue mission here in Huntsville. They have about 20 or 15 regular vets that come see them like on a day-to-day basis kind of thing. They don't stay there with a program or whatnot, but going in and talking to those guys and saying, hey, have you reached out to the VA, or have you applied for VA benefits to see what you qualify for, or see if there's something that you haven't filed for yet that you need to, that could help you out and to get you to a point where you don't have to come here to get help anymore, because you can do it on your own.
I've been asked to ask about your backstory on the header image on your Facebook.
You're carrying logs and stuff?
Yeah, the carrying the logs.
I haven't. Yeah, well, so I had a 2-level spinal surgery in July because of all the stuff that happened when I was in, being hard-headed and not necessarily not wanting to do the fix, but doing everything. So I did massage, acupuncture, chiropractic, swimming, cycling.
Everything non-invasive.
Stretches, yoga, everything I could before surgery happened.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, because of the position that I hold and just being in the military and stuff like that, I can't say that, hey, we're going to go do a log carry and then tell you to pick up a 120-pound log.
Right.
But then not do it myself. And so even though I was doing it, it's like the whole back, like after everybody was said and done, everything was put away, and I finally got home, nobody saw I'm laying in my living room floor in aggravating pain because I can't feel my legs for the next 30 minutes because my back's so inflamed and swollen up, kind of thing. But I'm not going to let anybody out there at the event see me not doing it, because I mean, what's the point of doing it if the guy that's supposed to be holding all of this is like, yeah, you go do that, or you go do that, and I'm not going to do that shit. Go for it. You can have the fun with it, but yeah, it's been a learning curve since July. Not wanting to do that because we did have the most recent one about a month or so after my surgery, and it was like I wanted to pick up that damn log so fucking bad because my thing is working out. Like I do tire flips, log carries. I got 7 of them in my backyard that I work out with, kind of thing.
Awesome.
And so, when people started at the end of the second log carry, they were kind of starting to bitch because it was too hot and the log was getting heavy. And so luckily the ones that were bitching had the log that I worked out with the most in my yard. So I told all of them to get off of it, and I picked it up and started walking around with it by myself. And everybody's like, oh shit, he's doing that by himself and we're bitching there's 4 of us on here. And I'm like, yeah, so get back on the damn log and let's fucking start moving again.
So you guys do log carries, mud runs? I mean, you lead from the front,
5Ks,
obviously.
10Ks, mud runs, yeah, you name it. It's anything that I can. Basically, it's anything that I could think that I would actually want to go do, and then somehow convince other people to go do it with me. Just because, like I said, whatever I can get you to do to get off your ass and doing something constructive, or like, oh, I can't do a 5K. But like, well, have you done one before? No. Okay. Well, let's go do this 5K.
Or have you done a 3K?
Now you can say that you did it. Yeah, now you don't have any excuses because I'm going to go as slow or I'm going to go as fast as you need to. I mean, I don't give a shit if I have to pick you up and carry you myself. I was like, because I can carry the log, so putting you on my shoulders is nothing that's going to freaking stop me. So let's go. And we just go do it. Luckily, I have a bunch of stupid friends that want to go do stupid stuff with me, so it's been working.
I fucking love this guy.
But that's the right attitude. I mean, more and more people forget. Once we get out, and that's something I've known and I've noticed, when we get out, all we want to do is curl up and lick our wounds and say no more. But the thing is, we need to get out. We need to even if we're around each other, at least we're around each other and we're talking versus sitting at home itching our balls, crying and drinking beer.
If you want to do that, you can do the quintessential thing that you always hear happens at most of the VFWs, where you got the guys getting there at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, and complaining about everything that happened when they were in. And it's like, people don't want to do that anymore. It's like, I'm only 36. I want to do 5Ks. I want to swim. I want to bike. I want to do this. I want to do these things. And so, and actually something that came to me a couple years ago, and I got it put on a shirt, going back to the doing the same thing over and over again and it not working is kind of the definition of insanity, because I'm going to keep doing these things knowing nothing's going to change. And so I was driving one day and that came to mind, and I was like, you got to try something different. And then all of a sudden get connected in with, because people talk about how they suffer from PTSD. Well, that's because usually when you have PTSD, you are in a revolving door of the same shit over and over again. And so I took that acronym and changed it, and I have a T-shirt that I wear a lot, and it says big ass letters right across the chest, PTSD, and underneath it says people trying something different.
There you go.
You're not going to succeed every fucking time. When you try something new, you're not going to succeed every time.
Well, and that's
I mean, I tried.
Well, right.
Yeah, 2 weeks before my surgery, I tried to do a barbarian challenge down in Gadsden.
Oh, goddamn.
It was a 10K down on a level 3 fucking trail course with, it seemed like 70% up and downhill grades and all kinds of stuff. Knowing I should not be doing it, because the next Tuesday I was supposed to be having a spinal fusion, but I still went out there and did it and made it to the last half mile. I was like, you know what? I can't go anymore. I was like, but I made it this far. So next time I try to do it, I know I could at least get here, so then maybe I can finish the last half mile next time.
Well, that's something we have to remind ourselves as veterans and as retirees and everything else. You can do something. It doesn't mean you have to finish it, and it doesn't mean you have to run it. It just means getting out and doing it.
Right.
And that's what you're trying to promote is you don't have to finish the race. You don't have to run the race. But going and doing it in and of itself.
Right.
What do you have coming up in this month? I think you have something coming up this month and in January.
Yeah. So this month we have next Saturday we do bingo at the veteran home.
Combat bingo.
The whole we don't want people.
It's combat bingo. It's like with swords and guns and shit.
Yeah. No, we do a bingo session with the veterans at a veterans home, because that goes back into that we don't want anybody feeling forgotten, and a lot of the vet residents there don't get visitors, and so we're the only visitors. So that's our give back to them is like, hey, we want to hang out with you, kind of thing. So we got that
that's
going
awesome. That is
in our regular
awesome.
meet and greet. But in January we're doing a kickoff for Gallant Few. And it's an entire month of February fundraiser where you go out, walk, run, bike, elliptical, row, swim, however you want to get miles in, that you're physically doing them. It's kind of like a school booster-thon where people can do it per mile or a one-time donation. You get up in teams of people together to collectively create, to make the goal. And it's basically just getting together, walking and doing stuff, being together, chit-chatting and talking, doing something that you haven't done before. Hey, I'm going to try to do 200 miles for this because I've never done 200 miles in a month of walking, running, biking, or swimming.
I don't know if I've done that outside the Army.
Well, it's funny. So my dad still jokes on me. He goes, you guys are going out here doing all this stuff with your friends, of all the stuff that you guys used to do for free when you were in the military and bitched about it every day, and now you're going out and doing it, and you're paying to go do it.
You're paying to go ruck march.
Right.
Well, it's glad that you've taken your situation, and you've turned it into something that positive. And those who are listening, and now you say that there are other bearded warriors around the U.S. Do you have a site where people, one, can sign up to become maybe their local representation, and two, do you have rules and bylaws?
Yes and no. I mean, the biggest, everything is basically done through social media, and like I said, through grassroots. Just, hey, I know this guy, I know that guy, and then that creates. And I have almost everybody's contact information, whether on my phone or email and stuff like that.
Okay.
So the Facebook page, there's a public Facebook page that anybody can see all of the articles and everything that we share on there and comment. But there's also a closed group on Facebook for somebody who may have had an incident that happened in the military, but may not have told their friends or all their family, but are having a bad time or a bad day and they need to vent about it. They can go into the forum and post and talk about it there or ask questions. And it's only people in the forum that can see it. So it's kind of like I don't want to say safe space because I hate that fucking word.
No shit.
It's an okay place to be able to talk and share about something that may have happened while you were in, that you're not totally okay sharing publicly, or that you don't want to share with family members due to what may or may not have happened. So, and then plus Twitter and Instagram, email, and I mean, there's a phone and everything. So there's 100 different ways to get a hold of us and get involved.
Yeah, you got social media covered. You guys do some great stuff. It's just really hard to get folks motivated. And I'm going to talk about myself in particular. It's just it's hard. I do the stuff with the radio station, but I've got friends that'll like, hey man, let's go do this, and I'm like, nah, I got stuff to do. It really is hard, and it's just it's so easy to just. And it's not that I'm sitting on my ass. It's just I'm not doing anything. It doesn't take any effort for me to work on my house. It takes effort, but it doesn't. It's different.
I got invited to a support group, and one of the things I'd been out almost 10 years by this point, and a lot of the new guys were in there talking, and they were talking about how they couldn't deal with going out in public and stuff. but every single one of the guys in there looked like they hadn't missed a day at the gym since they got out. And so I was like, well, you got to look at it this way. I was like, let's do on something that you guys can all have in common. Let's talk about the gym. When you went into the gym, you didn't go to the bench press and put 300 pounds on the bar and go in there and just start racking it out. You either started with 25s or 35s or whatever and worked your way up.
True.
Do the same thing when you go out in public. You know, take a trip that you need to make, give yourself a 5-minute timer, go to where you need to go, set the timer, do as much as you can, and then when the timer goes off, go home. And then do the same thing in a couple of days to get the rest of what you needed when you went out. And I was like, eventually you're either going to forget the timer or you're just going to keep going out and doing and staying out longer and longer without having to worry about what everybody else is doing around you, because you're just focused on what you need to do and then get back to where you got to go.
That's an excellent viewpoint. It really is. It really, even my daughter, who has not been in the service, said she's an ROTC and she's going to be in the Army, but she doesn't like the big crowd type things. But we'll go out to movies, we'll go out to dinner, we'll hang out with people. So it's just, you just got to do it. There's nothing wrong with just doing it.
Exactly. Now
you don't have to be the fastest or the best. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
I have to ask you a simple question. Okay, your name, Bearded Warriors. Come on, what's behind that?
Do you have to have a beard?
No, you don't. And so the thing that throws a lot of people off is because the A is capitalized.
I was going to ask you that.
So what I always tell, so the A is capitalized and the S is lowercase. So if you take out all the lowercase letters, it leaves be a warrior.
Very good,
dude. That's fucking awesome. That's genius, actually. Be a warrior.
So that's there's you don't say it any different or like that. It's still Bearded Warriors, but I said if you drop all the other lowercase letters, at least be a warrior, and that can be in anything that you're doing: the 5K, the 10K, a mud run, log carry, going and helping the homeless guys, picking, whatever it is that you're doing. Go be a badass and doing it, because you were a badass when you were in. Why can't you be a badass when you got out?
I'm so happy you said that, because I'm like, okay, the dude had his caps fucking held down for A when he chose his name for his Facebook page. But dude, it really makes sense. It really makes sense.
I had a feeling.
I knew there was something there. I just wasn't sure what it was. I'm not going to be a crypto guy, because I couldn't figure that out.
Well,
Well, don't feel bad. There's only been about 3 people that have figured it out without me having to tell them.
Yeah, but now you said that on the air.
And how I look at things and what we do, what I do, it all comes together as trying to get people to look beyond themselves and trying people to remember that it's okay to be who you are, and it's okay to still be a soldier even when you're out, but you have to at some time participate, because sitting in your house trembling and being scared of the outside is not being who you are.
No, not at all. As I say, people trying something different.
I'm glad we have you on, because this is something that he before he came, during the break we were talking for a minute, and he said that he'd been listening to us, and our broadcast, what we do on Sundays, we try to keep things light, but this is something that is very light and actually has a lot of good reason behind it. It's something that I try and Cause tries to remind people. You need to get outside yourself. That's the one thing that you have to do for you.
Yeah, because nobody knows you better than yourself. Everybody else is just there to help support you once you put yourself out there.
And it's kind of amazing how much support you have out there. It's not from the veteran community, but your family. Your family will support you with whatever you try to do or whatever you want to do. I've made a lot of career changes.
And that's something that came full circle with me, because for the longest time I never shared anything that happened while I was deployed with any of my family members. Just because it's like I don't want to put as much as I'm having to deal with and everything, I don't want to put that on them. But then I finally did, and they were like, yeah, we pretty much figured that out a long time ago. We were just kind of waiting on you to say something.
That I hear that a lot.
So do you have like this huge ass majestic beard like our one of our staff members, Pookie, has like this massive ass beard?
Yeah, I pride myself on not having to shave. I'm lazy.
Do you braid it, or do you just keep it nice and straight like a ZZ Top, or a ZZ Top beard?
No, it usually looks like the worst set of bedhead you've ever seen in your life 90% of the time.
It's bedhead on your face.
Yeah, which makes it even worse. It depends on, I've done a couple fundraisers where I grew it out for an entire year, and the bottom of it was down below my nipples, and it did just as big as it looked in the normal pictures, but this huge, and then shaved it off for $9,000. So,
oh, wow.
I've only had to shave twice in 3 years, and I've raised over $16,000, so it's not a bad gig.
Then it goes for a great cause. It's a great cause, though. If we could talk Pookie into shaving, he's like, a piece of steel will never touch my beard again. Roar. If you've seen this guy, the guy looks homeless. He really does. But he's awesome. He's just like, no, I'm not going to shave.
Yeah, I did that, and it took 3 weeks for people that I worked with for 10 years to figure out who I was.
That had to have been fun.
It was. I had one girl, I saw her in the hallway, and it was every morning at the same time. Hey, how's it going? And it, like clockwork every day was, oh, hey. And then I did it that day, and she kind of looked at me weird and ran upstairs, and all of a sudden I heard the footsteps of running back downstairs and the door ripping open and going, Ty? And I was like,
Ty?
Yeah. She goes, oh my gosh, I am so glad you finally said something, because
I thought you were a creeper. I was going to call the cops on you.
Dude in the hallway's been talking to me.
Hello, 911. There's this creeper in the hallway that knows my name.
Yeah. Not a good feeling to have working in a government office, though. So
no, that's really not. So we can catch you at facebook.com/Bearded Warriors. Do you have any other any websites? Anything you want to push?
Not website, but Instagram is just bearded.warriors, and then Twitter is @beardedwarriors. We also have a Tumblr page, and then emails are what'sbehindthebeard@gmail.com.
Okay.
What'sbehindthebeard@gmail.com. And you guys are primarily in the Huntsville area in Alabama.
That's where the main focus of everything is. Like I said, but through social media and contacts that I've made over the last 5 years, there's really not anywhere that I can't get a hold of somebody, to include a couple of my Army buddies that live over in the UK, and
awesome.
A buddy of mine that lives in Wisconsin, but has ties to the Australian Army down back home. So.
Oh, there you go. That's really great, man. It's about the networking thing, because you're going to know someone who's going to know 3 or 4 other people that can be of assistance, and
sure,
it really makes a difference.
If I can't do it, I know somebody that might be able to, and then that festers off from there.
And that's the best part about the veteran community, is because we know somebody, and I know several people, but then if someone's having an issue, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's something emotional that you need to talk through something, or you've got a problem with your car, or you've got a problem with your house. We're always 1 or 2 degrees of separation away from someone who knows how to solve that problem. So,
exactly.
Ty Oswald has got the connections, and yeah, he's in Huntsville, Alabama, but you know what? He knows folks. And that's what we're about, is expanding the our reach, because we all know someone who knows how to solve a problem. And all it takes is you got to reach out, or just ask a question. Hey, I'm having this problem, or this is an issue I'm having. It doesn't matter if it's an emotional thing or it's something with your car or whatever. We're not too far separated from someone who knows how to solve that problem. It's just, you got to ask. That's half the problem. So, Ty, what do you got going on for Christmas, man? Are you going to see some family, or?
We all live here pretty close, so it's going to be just shuffling around between all the parents' houses and hanging out and families and friends and
the big ass barbecue,
seeing all the wrapping. Yeah, hopefully my dad's smoking some something. That's what I look forward to on Christmas is his brisket or salmon or something that he does.
There you go. Salmon's good. Turkey is great.
Oh yeah,
I'm having prime rib.
Prime rib.
Prime rib.
That's awesome.
I don't think I'm going to test out any of that beaver bourbon, though. That doesn't sound anything like I wanted to have anything a part of. Because I know that my parents growing up used to pay the vet techs to do that
the
whatever
gland
with the glands or whatever.
The glands with the dogs, yes.
Because that is some nasty stuff.
That's nasty stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's amazing what people out there do, right?
No, when I take my dogs into when I took my dogs into the vet, they're like, "Hey, do you want me to do their glands?" I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" I'm like, "No, they got glands that need to be fucking milked or whatever." I'm like, "Here's $10, do what you do. I don't care."
Right. Hey, apparently it's an untapped market because they're not using dogs right now, so.
I'm a gland squeezer. Ty, I'm going to tell you right here from the bottom of my heart, I thank you very much for spending your hour of your life with us, man. It's awesome, and you're welcome back anytime.
Oh, I appreciate it. I've been looking forward to it since I got the email, so I'm beside myself.
Please keep us in contact with anything you got going on, man. If you got a big ass muddy fucking log carry from Huntsville to Mobile, let us know.
Yeah,
we'll do.
If you let us know, we can actually pass it along, and maybe we can get some more people going your way.
That'd be awesome.
Because we're kind of like networking here. We have folks in Alabama. We can help get the word out.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah.
All right, guys. I guess that's the end of our show. I mean, we're close, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're 3 minutes past. The FCC is going to kick our ass. Not really, because fuck them. We're not beholden to them. But it is the end of our show, and I thank you, each and every one of you, very much for being here. And shit, man. Our next show is going to be on. Let's see. Tomorrow's Monday, no.
Thursday.
Tuesday is no. Wednesday is no show. Thursday is Sergeant's Time with Ice. And he's going to be here talking about Army stuff. There's a lot of stuff going up, man, with General Mattis. General Mattis was supposed to be, he offered his resignation. He was supposed to be gone in February. President Trump came out and said that he's gone 1 January. So it would be nice to see what ICE's opinion and story on that is. It's going to be awesome.
See if you find out anything.
So anyway, you guys have an awesome Christmas. I think it's going to be great. I might get sunburned outside because it's like 70-something degrees.
Oh, yeah, sure. Make us jealous.
But, just to add a little bit of rain on that, we are supposed to get some storms on Tuesday and Wednesday. So,
well,
at least it's not snow. But
yeah, at least you're not getting snow.
The ice storms are coming. We got the stock show and rodeo coming up in February, and there's always an ice storm during that. And it's just horrible here because if you get even a dusting of snow, it just like throws people into a tizzy and no one can drive.
Well, to remind everybody, it's Christmas is coming up and the holidays are upon us. Remember, there's 22 a day of our own brothers and sisters that can't see themselves through. Contact those who you love, your brothers and sisters. Check in on them. Make sure that they know that someone cares.
Oh, and Ty, I really appreciate the on the 22nd every month you guys get together, and that number is significant, and it needs to be reduced a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
So, remember, everybody, stay safe.
All right, guys. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, and have an awesome week. Merry Christmas.
All right, thanks.
Dude.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Christmas.
Stay close to your family. Hug the ones you love. And we'll be back next Sunday. And don't forget to tune in on Thursday.
Here's a shot out of a cannon. Oprah, Barbara Walters, your wife. You got to fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go.
I think we're done here. Thank you.
WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation Radio.